Right now, AI agents like Claude can browse the web, write code, manage your files. But there is one thing they still can't do. They can't actually control most of the software on your computer. This week, an open source tool called CLI-Anything launched on GitHub, and it hit 10,000 stars almost overnight. It was built by the same Hong Kong University lab behind LightRAG and RAG-Anything. So these are not random developers. It claims to make any software controllable by AI in just a few minutes. I tested it, and in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what happened. Here's what we are covering. First, why your AI agent can't control most software today. And then 3 approaches people have tried that don't really work. Then a live demo where I install CLI-Anything and use it to make draw.io fully controllable by Claude, creating diagrams, styling them, exporting them, all from the terminal. There are 3 failed approaches for doing this. First approach is screen automation. There are tools that literally look at your screen and click buttons for you. Sounds cool, but it's slow, fragile, and breaks every time a menu moves 1 pixel. Second approach is using MCP servers. It is the current standard for connecting AI agents to external tools. It works great when a server exists. You install it, point Claude at it, and done. But here's the catch. MCP servers have to be built by someone. There are MCP servers for big popular tools, but the vast majority of software out there, no MCP server. And the third approach is just by asking Claude nicely. You paste a file into Claude and say, edit this. Sometimes it works for simple stuff, but Claude doesn't understand the file format. It can't validate what it creates, and you end up with broken files half the time. And this is the gap CLI-Anything fills. It reads from the source code of any open source software and automatically generates a command line interface that Claude can use to control it. Quick context on our demo tool. Draw.io is a free and open source tool. You have probably seen it. It's used for flowcharts, architecture diagrams, wireframes, you name it. Millions of people use it every day. Now, draw.io does have a community-built MCP server. But here's the thing. MCP works by loading a full tool schema into Claude's context window every time. We are talking about thousands of tokens just for the connection overhead. A CLI would do the same job for 30x less number of tokens and cost. To set up draw.io, you need to go to their GitHub project, click on code, copy this URL, then in your Visual Studio Code, start a new terminal and run git clone and paste the URL. Now let's set up CLI-Anything in our Claude Code. We need to scroll down in the quick start section and make sure you have Python 3.10 or newer version installed. And then we need to copy this command from here and let's paste it in the Claude Code chat. And this is done. Next, let's install the plugin. Let's copy this command, paste it over here. All right, so now the plugin is loaded and we already have our draw.io source code. CLI-Anything needs the source code locally. It's going to read through this entire code base to understand how draw.io works. Now I'm going to point CLI-Anything to draw.io repo. And to do that, we need to execute step 3. Let's copy this command. And here we need to replace this with our software path or repo. Let's paste it over here and change the directory name with draw.io-desktop because that's the name of our directory where the entire code base resides. CLI-Anything reads the source code and runs through these 7 automated phases. It analyzes the code base, designs the CLI architecture, then writes the implementation, creates test plans, writes the actual tests, generates documentation, and publishes the final CLI. And the same is mentioned over here in their documentation. Alright, so this is done, and it took a long time, I think more than 15 minutes to complete. And this codebase is of 200 MB size. So if you are setting it up for some other project, expect similar kind of time. It has created 90 tests, and all of them have passed. And this is what it has built. Now let's actually use it. Let's ask Claude to create an architecture diagram for draw.io itself. And this is the image it has created. This is the entire structure of this project. And all of this was created by one-line prompt. Let's ask it to create another architecture diagram for Netflix. Now this contains detailed instructions on what exactly to create. And it is complete. Let's see what it has created. And this looks amazing. It contains everything we asked for. So another thing you can do is refine and improve the CLI. If you use terminal, you can run these commands. But if you're using Claude Code, you can just give this command and the change you want to make. Another important thing is that we have set up draw.io from scratch just to see the entire process. But when you set up the plugin, all of these come preloaded with it. So you don't need to run the pipeline for these softwares, at least as of today. Okay, now let's talk honestly about where this fits. CLI-Anything is not replacing MCP, and they solve different problems. If a tool already has a well-maintained MCP server like Slack, GitHub, your database, use that. CLI-Anything is good for open source tool that your team may be using, and if you don't have any MCP server for it, and maybe for internal code base at your company. That's where this is generally useful. So here's a simple test. Before you try CLI-Anything on any software, ask yourself this one question. Does this software have a backend, an API, or a file format that works independently of the GUI? If yes, CLI-Anything can build something real. If no, if the only way to use software is through its visual interface, you'll probably get a wrapper that looks good but doesn't actually do anything. Drop a comment below which tool do you want to automate with this. And if you found the video useful, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.